Yo. What's up, guys? Guys, gals, MBs, everybody else. How's everybody doing tonight? How is everybody feeling? Welcome, welcome. Yo, it's me, Grove Sleeper PNW. What's up? Welcome to the broadcast tonight. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. We're jumping right into it. I've got this Mugo pine that I've had sitting on my back patio. I saved you guys from the burp. This amazing Mugo pine back here. I call it my Cthulhu Mugo. We're going to get a nice up close view of that. And we're going to start forming it. We're going to be cutting some branches. We're going in after it. Thank you to everybody who's been super supportive of the channel recently. Tassadol, thank you for the 11 months. Brian TV, thanks for always dropping by. And thank you so much for all those gift subs that you've dropped us over the last 12 months. That's so much appreciated. And everybody else who's just supported the channel by hanging around and watching. I love y'all. Let's get into the project for tonight. Hey, look at how great that camera is. All right, now the trick is moving it without ruining everything. Wire management, okay. Worked well so far. Okay, good. Let's make sure that we don't get in the way of seems I'm gonna have to boost you guys up a bit to have a real good view. So let me get something to boost you up. Got the perfect booster right here. I've been using this for a lot of my webcam stuff. This will actually lay underneath it. And get some extra light there too. Look at that. All right. Now how we looking? Professional. Good and professional. A little close. I can scoot back a bit. But I want you guys to be able to see the detail today. We're getting up close and personal. Lots of white lights shining on this thing. And I'm working on my photogrammetry. So lighting has become more and more important in my work. So hopefully everybody can see everything all right. Let's get my microphone moved carefully. I'm not going to join the broken monitor club quite yet. Okay, let me find a good spot for microphone. How about here? There we go. Nice. Everything seems to be lined up well and we're lit up. Okay, guys, let's do this thing. If it's your first time coming in, I'm Grove Sleeper PNW. I like to work on bonsai trees. I also like to learn new skills, digital and otherwise. I also like to stream video games. I've been playing Project Zomboid recently, but it's been a little bit on hold the last couple of weeks. I've been taking some time off to focus on a few other things that are really important in life for us right now. So just maintaining life balance, doing all those good things that a responsible unk should do. All right, so I think that these and these are going to be our weapons of the evening. Maybe it's the gin pliers here, but more importantly, these cutters right here. All right, we'll see what all has to come off of this bad boy. Let me give you guys a nice rotating view. It's gonna come up real close to the camera. You can see how very healthy these lower branches are. This is a Mugo pine. You know what? You guys can even see close enough that on these front branches, these candles have grown out immensely this summer, and a lot of them are producing their pines at the end. So it's a bit too late to candle anything except for maybe these ones. But there's a couple little points that I kind of want to keep as little clusters. I want to keep this cluster up here. I want to keep a cluster over on this side as well. And then I think maybe the rest is going to get built into kind of a clouded taper downwards this way. So we'll remove some of this stuff in the middle and open up that trunk and have it kind of work its way down. And we can remove some of this lower stuff too, especially anything that's reaching below the bottom of the basin here. We're either going to want to flatten out if we take out some stuff above it to be the very bottom of this little cloud. But honestly, I think if we take out this lower stuff, that'll be a dramatic branch to take off here. And we can gin that off. And that'll make some interesting gin going downwards into the broken area down below. Or they could be the final surviving branches down low. But this one dips way down too low. So I don't even think there's anything I can do with this one. If I leave this over here, which may get snipped, it may get just moved. Seems as I can make that part of that. Maybe take some of this stuff down. Definitely this lower one. And then I've got this lower right here that could work, but the one next to it will have to go. So there's an easy choice between one of two there. And looking at it from the other side, can you guys see it from this angle? Probably not. Time for an unpleasant scrape. There. So this gives you a good angle of the back. We can definitely do some removal on the back to help clean up and draw attention to these nice upward growing and outward growing branches, the long spindlies that just end up with two little ends. That doesn't add a whole lot. I might cut it back to here just to keep it maybe continuing to back bud this way, because if I cut all of this off, it won't back bud. If I leave this little bit, it could back bud. Or I could shape it, because that one's a little bit higher. I'm more concerned about these two lowers. One of these two has to go, I think. And I'm thinking it's going to be this back one. Splits off into just kind of a spindly, regular pattern. Whereas this one I think is going to be more conducive to the bottom of a little bit of a cloud. There's even one more that breaks off the side there. So this one seems to grow inward on the tree, upward into the tree. Overall, that's not useful. That's not useful. And even this stuff out here isn't very useful. So I'm going to cut this one all the way back to here. All right, guys, you ready? Can you see everything? If I start getting in here with the claws, can you see? I'll scoot you back a bit. And then scoot the table back. There, now we can get a full 360 look, okay? All right, so as stated, I think this is considered the back of the tree, and it has its own little Easter egg back here with this little monster. And I think you also get a really amazing view of the tree from this side, and we can really clean it up by removing a couple of these little spindly ones. If I look at it from what I think will be the traditional front here, gosh, who knows? Maybe this could be the back. It's almost a cool 360 view of this entire tree. And that's something I love about it. There is no real traditional front or back. All right, let's get to work. First decision of the night. This one comes in here and fills in actually in kind of a cool swoop where this one is going on. I have no need for these two outer bits here, so I'm gonna cut so that there's enough room for either some gin or maybe even dieback here. Looks like it's already bleeding, so I'm gonna have to start getting a little bit of wound sealant on there. This tree is just pumping right now, so it's gonna have some sap bleed going on. Where the heck did that stuff go? You know what? I don't want to keep going because I might forget a spot. Let me find my wound sealer and the chopstick that I've been using for it. It's probably sitting right over here. Ooh, my coffee's over here too. Blast. I'm gonna switch to wireless headphones, guys. So I should still be getting all of your updates if you send a message. I don't think I will hear very much of your announcements. I've been having trouble getting any type of notifications to give me audio. I think they're playing over the stream, but I might not be able to hear it. So just send a message or something and ping me. Let me know if I miss anything so I can let you guys know. Thank you for supporting the channel like you are. Let me see. I'm trying to find one of the little chopsticks that I was using to spread this stuff around. Damn, man, running out of supplies. I suppose that I can use some backup ideas, like maybe oh, there we go. There's two. Got it. That's what I was looking for the whole time. I feel like you guys are entirely too close. Maybe it's just the angle. Hang on, let me turn. There, now you guys will have a perfect shot. And I'll try to not reach across too hard and block the shots of the cuts. This is where we begin. First, we've taken the end off of here, just like that. That was not contributing to the process, so I'm gonna drop it right there. There's a general rule that a lot of the time you want to reduce by a third or less when you're working on these trees. Pines store a lot of their energy in their needles, so you can't cut too much off all at once. And that also means that a lot of energy was being sent to the needles, so that's going to cause some bleeding here. And then after this turns to deadwood, I can snap it right off, no problem. And I'm hoping that this transformation takes maybe an hour or less, so that some folks can check the VOD, and maybe it'll be helpful to some people in the future. So those could be really useful upwards here. This one I'm going to still probably wire out. So let me just look this way, because I kind of want to make sure that I form my cloud. Maybe we need to work around two other areas that I have in maybe land here. So I want this palm up here to really kind of be free to go, with maybe this branch only to support it, like that. This one's growing inward, and its buddy right here is also growing inward. This is gonna start opening up quite a bit of canopy. The question is, do I leave this bit that's supporting this palm right here, or do I just go straight for the palm? Should probably save one more branch, but this one unfortunately is growing upwards and inwards on both of these cases. So I'm thinking just keeping this one is a good idea. Okay. And this is kind of a bush at the end of this one. This is gonna clear up. Can you guys see a good angle from the front here? This is the front view. Got the one here, and then 1, 2, 3 below. And I think I need to choose the one that's to the outside. The one that's growing inward and upward is just cluttering. So we're reducing this down to it's one split here. And that's actually a pretty good rule of bonsai, is to try to keep your splits to 2 where you can. Snap, that comes off right there. Piece just like that. There's even a bit of deadwood in there. So that obviously wasn't even getting the sun that it needed to thrive. So let's take one more off, because what I think I would like to do, we actually have 2 options here. I could bring this down, and then we could have these 2 opposite if I cut this one down here. And if I have this one also having back budding here and growing higher, at least I'll be able to see the back. So nothing too bad lost by taking this one off. There's some back growth here that fills in as well. Not sure if that'll be staying or going. We'll have to decide. We are getting further and further from the trunk, but frankly, there's another trunk right here. So we've got a whole trunk for a kind of traditional foot, cloudy foot, and then a couple of just ambitious growers off the top. Let me spin this around one more time here. I'm gonna real quickly try to locate what's growing up and into the tree or causing clutter, especially at like 3 splits, areas where I get 3 different. This has a huge candle here, reaching out very far. So I have to decide if I want this to be the very front of the start of my cloud shape here. I suppose to first decide that, we're gonna have to take some of this lower foliage, because some of this is just much too low. I don't know that I want to reduce these to single branch. And I don't even know that I'm wanting to get any back budding down here, because this is kind of the part of the tree that should be considered almost broken off here, yeah? So I suppose the question is, do we go deep enough to take those 2? You know what? That's pretty bold to take off a big old chunk like this, but it will make this look more spectacular. So I'm actually thinking that this whole big bad boy here is going to be a big chunk of the foliage that I can remove. And I already have plans for one of them too. I think it adds to the character to have more of the broken Nabari coming upwards to here. It adds more to the tree's story. So I'm going to go to the edge of the pot and remove this. Kind of spindly branch, see? A little up close. Wasn't getting a lot of sun down there. The candles weren't doing a whole lot. Weren't really helping produce with the tree here. So now this is not going to back bud at all. I've taken all the foliage off of this. This is not going to back bud. It is purely gin from now on. And I think that its partner over here is going to have the same fate. Although it does have a split into 2. So this one fits the aesthetic rules a bit more. The only thing is, do I bring it up? Seems like there's plenty to hold in the middle of this whole cloud here. And we can clean some stuff out over here to make this more prominent and this more prominent. And some of this is going to come down. We're going to have some large branches come off of this. So let's take a look here. So I'm thinking that this middle crotch branch might need to go. It's a big one, but it leaves smaller ones on the sides to start coming in and taking the reins. I don't want to cut off a whole bunch of the pines that are doing really, really well though, which this center lead kind of does. So maybe we just take the one off the bottom. Yeah, so this is going to be our oddball out. This is growing off of the bottom of this nice lead branch right here. There's another piece off. Looks like we're asking for a little bit of, there's some sap coming out here, so I'm gonna get this coverage right on so that sap doesn't drop all over the house. Let me get some in here. We need a cut count. What's our cut count? Suppose I can always just look at the number of branches next to me. I think we're at like 4 now. 4 pretty significant pieces come off of this one. I have access to a lot of Mugos to work with, and I've become very attached to this one just because of its very strange nature down by the Nabari. I really don't want to kill this one off, but it is doing so well right now. And we're right in that summer pump where I'm getting a lot of really great growth off of some of these leads that I am definitely keeping. We are thinning out this area though. There's too much coming out right here. All right, let's take another look at something. Okay. I'm not sure if this will contort out like that, but I think I'm going to cut this one down to here. I mean, it does add a little bit of direction, but I can't do a lot with it besides bend them out like this. I'll do that with this one. I'll bend this one out. It has more options anyway. And then this one, I'm going to cut all of these large extensions off and just leave the lowest back bud all the way at the top. So we'll start with the one that's going inward to make sure I don't change my mind. So there's another cut, a little smaller, but we'll seal it off. Okay. Things start to make more sense the deeper you get in, because now maybe just having this one branch turned down like this would be sufficient, but maybe I want both. Maybe I cut both of these down to 2, and then I can get this one down to maybe even have a little bit of a back and forth like this. We can remove some of the ones that are overcrowding, because this one going out like this may be pretty cool because it's growing upward, but it looks like it's a little older. This one will have that same effect like this. We'll wire those later. I'll leave them for now. If anything, they maybe trimmed down a little bit. Question of this piece right here. A bit scraggly, kind of random. This could be the good separator between everything over on this side and then our little bit of foliage that's growing back up on this side. So I'm thinking this one's gonna go here. So there goes that. Get you patched up, buddy. Med kit applied. You're gonna make it, soldier. I'm gonna try and not get any water on this sealant, so it doesn't fall off tonight. Let's see. This even gives me some dynamicism. I can make this a little more dynamic in here. Let's start following our leads really quick. We got our big, nice, big stumpy lead here. And it's got our 2 support branches that are kind of making their new way here. They're kind of making their new way here out of the carnage. But they owe it all to this guy staying alive right here, this big lead up here. So we'll leave that lead along with this other major lead on the other side right here. And it's also going to have a couple little support branches like this. Maybe up, maybe out. This one may have to do a pretty major twist and it could break. Or it may need to get pared down quite a bit to go outwards like that. Or it might just get clipped to make this a nice 2 spot. And I can even bring them together if I wanted into one like that. I kind of like the upper with the lower though. Don't really need the support from this one. This just clogs everything up. It's going. From either direction, I think it's a distraction. Please, tree gods, don't punish me for over trimming this tree. I'm leaving everything intact that's blowing up and glowing up. We've got 1 cut, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Mugo cuts. I don't think I can propagate those, can I? I doubt it. Starting to look more like a bonsai. Okay. I like the idea of this one coming out like that. And maybe this one just kind of staying straight up, actually. That could be pretty dope. So the next question may be this upper. Yeah, I gotta move the sacrificed branches off of there. Okay, let me take a look at what I like the natural form of from this perspective looking in. I like the natural form of that and all of that. This is a good upper spot, especially if I just bring it up a bit. But we do have a nasty little crotch branch right here that I think would more evenly distribute the 3. So what's our least impactful branch here? It's got to be this one. It could even be 2. Could even be 2. I think first I'm going to take the larger one because I really don't like how it's positioned right here in between these 2. So I'm going to take this one first. I need a little bit more healing glue on here in a minute. And then these can turn off to dead wood. Now we'll be perfectly content with that. Okay. So there's one more split established. Thing about the rest of these is what's contributing and what's taking away. I feel like this one might also be taking away a bit. I think I feel better with just kind of the bunch right here that are kind of going off in opposite directions. I can even bring this one down a bit maybe, and these 2 could flatten out to have this one go up above. And then this little guy's trying to fill in here, but it's getting a little bit, well, you know, I think it helps fill out that bundle, which leaves me with this guy right here. So I really like the direction and the shape of this one for the top. So I think it just needs to be brought down a little bit. This one's a very cool shaped branch, and it just needs to be brought down a bit and maybe have this upward branch taken off. So let's do this. Let's take this upward off. And then I don't like what's going on here very much. I really like this branch. It's got a cool shape, but it's got some junk going on up here that I don't like. I'd rather have it focus up at the front. Or should I? Let's see. I believe it can be brought down and salvaged. As a good branch. Let me see. They could become parts like that. This one needs to be cut back probably to start establishing that. Well, I suppose if it gets turned a bit to right here, it could be part of that foot establishment. This little bitty guy right there. I can move those with aluminum probably. I'll just leave this one. That one doesn't bother me too bad. Especially because we might have to be cutting back to some back buds pretty soon here. I like how this is taking shape, but what harms my shape here? First off, it's this needing to go this way, and then it's this branch. I really like the shape of it, but it needs to be brought down more like this. Well, then that kind of defeats the purpose, huh? So if we've got to choose a 2 direction, I'm supposing actually that this guy right here will end like this, and then this one will come down in here like this. It's a pretty good chunk to take off here. Pretty good chunk. I'm gonna have to take the whole branch, but there are 3 branches growing in one spot, so hasta la vista. Can I make these 2 good opposite branches though? Can I make these 2 work together? Or is there a bunch of junk in here that's gonna get removed? Make sure that I get any little dead pieces off. So I don't want to base a decision with dead bits, or I just feel like this is a good top cloud cover right here. This one may be able to go. Once it comes off, it's not going back on, so always need to spin it around a few times. These are nice little inviting branches for the viewer if they're facing out this way. I was hoping maybe I could utilize this in the same way. Maybe with just the small bit. And then we can leave this, because this is acceptable level. This is dropping down to the bottom of the level that's acceptable. This is low, so this is coming off. This is too low. Time to take the downward, well, it is good to have some downward facing ones, right? Just for the, there's too many downward facing ones. But which one do we take? The more interesting one that dips down as a 3rd split, or the one that we've reduced back here and cut its buddy off and said maybe this one will last? This seems like a good branch to use. I might take this little downward one off to reduce clutter, but then again, maybe I need to take it back. Yeah, I can take it back to this lead actually, and maybe it'll cooperate a little better. This little downward piece here can go. That's not going to be helpful. And this one won't be helpful here either. Okay, so there's two little shoots that we're growing that were not going to be of any use. There's another one that I feel just clutters things up in the inside. Definitely over here. But yeah, that one's just going like straight into the tree, blocking all sorts of stuff. So I'll take that one off. I think these can be manipulated nicely. Maybe this tree stays kind of like this, and this becomes the new lead and split down here, and we lose this top part. I'll have to decide during wiring, I think, because I think I can pull them out this way. And then this can go this way. That'll look nice. And then this can start forming, I think, the bottom of our little puffy cloud, unless we look a little deeper in here. Okay, so I really don't like a lot of this lower junk here. Okay. I think I'm going to take the two bottom branches. I'll compromise on one for now. Well, I want to start snipping them back a little bit and see what happens. This one I might be able to bring up. Just, it might grow up naturally into the gap there. But what really separates? What separates? What can I take away that separates? Probably this. It's a pretty big branch to take off, but it'll clear up a lot of the center. And it is blocking a main branch. This one kind of is too, but I can move it to not. This one's blocking a major branch, I think. Maybe it needs to be pared back all the way to here. So it's just above. Then I'm down to one split on top. So just kind of reduces this branch, but it doesn't completely eliminate it. It has to travel pretty far to get into the next area, so hey, this is a place to try new things. I think it'll give this a nice little area to stand out too. This can be manipulated over. There it goes. I'm not taking it back now. Branch off. I really wanted to wait until I had like a little bit of a crowd to do this job because I thought it'd be really fun to do with some people online, but such is life. Nobody signed in. It's all right. We'll keep trucking through it. I really like this project, and I think it's going to look dope as fuck. Don't have my yoga blocks. My feet are killing me. Yeah, dude, this thing looks so sick with how it goes horizontally like this. So I'm thinking maybe I want to toss some wire on really quick. Maybe why not? I got oh man, wire's over there. I'll be right back. You know what? You guys give me just a few minute break here. I'll do one or two more what I think are strategic cuts. I think taking this out is going to be wise. Or at least this back bit here. So I'll at least take that. Here, I'll turn it so you guys can see this one up here. I think I want to take this one so I can create more separation between my features. And we're starting to see some layering, which is exactly what I was looking for. We've got Big Boy up there and these guys doing their thing over here, creating an interesting look. This will be over here, and then this can be brought up a bit to kind of support the chain of command here, even up and out. So it's kind of like this. These guys are gonna have to do their thing out down like this and try and stay out of the way, otherwise they might get snipped. And then this one down here goes quite low, but then comes back up. So what I'm gonna do with this one is I'm just gonna clip the stuff that continues downward and leave the bit that's going upwards, just like that. It's two more cuts, but hopefully you guys will be able to see how I've cut this one into this shape now. I have to put a little bit of sealant on it right there. There. All right. Maybe we will get to some wiring tonight. That one's gonna need some of this. I've got a needle stuck in here. Get out of here. Sticky thing. Ugh. Okay, there we go. And can everybody have a really good view of the tree? It looks like it. Nice. Awesome. All right, next victims. What are we looking at? This interesting stuff going over here. I may even bring this one up into that, and then this one spreads over into the other side where we have our cloud, or up into this one, as it's already kind of naturally doing upwards here. So we can actually encourage that and clear up a little bit of our trunk by taking off this piece right here and turning that into a 2-split. I think I actually have the grace to push things a little far from the Nabari on this particular tree, just because it's so strange. This isn't gonna win any traditional bonsai show, I don't think, but maybe for the creativity. All right, so down here, what I'm seeing is I might be able to have one support branch to come up this way to start coddling things upward again, but there's a lot of downward on this that I really just can't work with much. So there's a split right here, and this is the split that we're gonna be keeping. It's a pretty far out split, and that's not something typically that you would want in a bonsai, but I think it fits our aesthetic, and we're gonna go for it. And this stuff just stuck to my hand. Yuck. Sticky goo. Put it on my apron. All right. So what did we say here? We were gonna coal this down to the split here. So this little piece here can go. And I think that this lower split actually could be effective if I get rid of this downward growing piece here, which is of kind of similar size. Let's see here. Do we want to back bud this, or do we want to eliminate it or keep it, or just kind of thin it out? Here's a downward growing piece that I don't like. I'm going to take that. Okay, so I've got this action up here. I really like this. Out and out. And down and up on this, which is rather interesting because it looks like it broke off there. And I think that the whole broken off thing is what we're going to go for with this whole lower branch. It reaches out the farthest on the entire piece. So we're going to go for more broken gin on this, I think. Or at the very, very least, reduce it all the way back to its lowest buds. Let's see how it looks if I reduce it to its lowest buds. You know, this really seems like the best candidate here, so that would go. That would go, and I can maybe even leave a little split there where these two don't run into each other. That doesn't insult me, even if I leave those just as like a sacrificial branch to help keep pumping a little more energy into this whole area. I don't think that this makes me too sad. It's now reached the point that, except for this little bit, everything is up above the level of the basin. So we're back to getting within bonsai, I guess, accurate bonsai tending territory here. Now, the question is, how far back do I want to bring this and then explore it out? I've got this piece here, like that. I like all this. This is good. This is all good. This is good, except really this single upward branch could be better. I think I'm going to cut off the top part and just leave the lower. That'll help make everything else around it look a bit bigger too. Some dieback space about there. And I can take these and turn them into little flower arrangements. So I'll save a bunch of these. They'll stay green for a very long time. So those are fun to keep from these projects. I had an Australian pine tip that I cut off, and it lasted for probably 6 months in my rotating flower display. I didn't bring any roses indoors today, but I do have many, many roses outside. And I like to share them with you guys, especially if we get a crowd in. I'll usually try to grab some during a break. Let's see, was this one? That's one here. That one's good. And I think this one needs it. Yep. Okay. So that's a decision made there. I think those will all cooperate pretty well. I wonder if we're better off without this bit. Let me see here. This actually will make a nice little puff here, I think. There is a bit of an upward jut here, but I think I can make it so that it clones in with the underside, especially if I wire it up. I've got lots of options with that. I'll leave it. That one's good as is. This one's good as is. I don't mind that branch. This branch is growing out too long. All of these lower ones have grown out too long, so they're gonna have to be pared back. So I suppose the easiest decision is to take off the longest one. If anything, it can reach kind of a furthest most outward right here, and the rest I'd like to kind of taper back. This is gonna be going in a different direction, so that's not part of the equation. This can get pared back clear to here. Don't really love the two opposing branches, but I could make them work together. You know, I'm just gonna cut the one smallest branch here that's growing the most directly inward towards its buddy here. So this is clutter cleanup. This isn't going to be a good candidate to keep, so get rid of that one, and we'll leave the other three. And we might be able to wire them around into a good position as well, more like this. More like this. Okay, we've got a bunch of junk happening out here. We've got a bunch of inner grown stuff. But I think I want to push it out towards the further bit of Nabari here. So I think, honestly, this whole branch can come off. Especially because it leads to a big palm at the end. With lots of foliage. Too much foliage. That little bit's fine. I just want to cut this one smaller. Okay, didn't take the whole piece off. Turn in. This is an essentially dead piece here, so that can just go. You can see that this one drastically blocks a lot and is very long, spindly, and not adding much, so that's gonna go. Okay. So especially from this view, I'm starting to see the vision a lot better. We've got our two little lonely survivor branches up here that add a little bit of contrast to this big bushy top part here. And we can even level that off by cutting a bit off the bottom. But we send this one out this way and maybe cut a little off the bottom here. I'll leave the lower branch, but I'm going to just clear out a little bit of this. Even one dead in here, two little dead sticks in here. There. Oh, that looks a lot better. See, two small ones and then a couple little dead sticks. Much better. And another dead stick. Just cut some of this stuff down a bit. This might be your only source on Twitch for live bonsai. So if you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, follow, gift a sub, all that good stuff. We take tips. Those are super appreciated and help me keep growing my collection and doing this content with you guys. All right, I got to do some cleanup on the inside of this big bulb here because we've got dead little twigs corrupting our perfect little crown here. Cut all that off. Cut this thing off. This one had no idea what it was doing. And then we start running into some ones that were a little more successful. And I suppose we can leave those. I just want the stuff out that's really not helpful. I don't want any more crotch growth, so I'm going to take this one little start off here. I'm going to just use my fingers to get these dead needles and everything out of here. Try to decongest this just a bit, because this has a really nice little palm here that we can make look awesome on this lateral plane that it's on. So cluttering, growing across, that'd be this one. There. That little piece there. All right, and I think that this particular area of the tree is just about done for now. Oh, there's pieces that are just falling right off. This piece is getting a little infringed on here. So let me lighten up that. And couple in here. 2. That one can go, and that one can go. Nice. We're making progress, guys. We are conquering the beast right now. Now, how are we looking? Pretty good. Pretty good. So I like how a lot of this stuff is growing and living together. I like how this stuff can be shaped to kind of give us our next area of the tree. This part's gonna rise up above. This part needs to then get pared down below. I think this is a place where we can actually have a split in branches, where one can come up to here and then one to here. And this is actually a nice top of the arc here. So what we need to do is create some separation over here. That'll be a pretty easy solution. It's gonna be one of those situations where we want to cut off the bigger piece and leave the smaller ones. It's gonna make the trunk look bigger. These are 2 nice little short bits in between each other. I don't want it to die back. So that's a big piece right there. Hoofda. Oofda. I hope that I leave enough material to work with. Okay. There we go. Take a look. We can really see into the tree a lot better, that's for damn sure. So will it help us highlight our highlights? One highlight up there, one hanging out this way. And these guys can all just kind of start working down like this. And work alongside this and these to create our little pocket. The things come up again nicely and they kind of cloud in here, and then we've got a little bit of stuff that we can take off in here. Maybe, hang on, maybe an entire branch we can take off in here. Yeah, I'm gonna take this bit. Okay, pine cutting off. Okay, little wound healer. There, and then a little more on the other side real quick. This one was a little bit smaller. It doesn't need too much. Just a little bit will do it. And I think this one's bleeding actually down here, surprisingly. So let's give it some love. Hopefully this doesn't get all over me when I put any wiring on. I may have to wait to wire some of these. Okay, now let me look. I think most of what's left is wiring, guys. Honestly, not a whole lot left to do besides some nice wiring to kind of bring everything into the position I want. So maybe we'll see how long we feel like working on that. We'll see how it goes for the rest of the evening. Those little guys, I'm just leaving alone. So let me pick up some copper wire here. And it looks like an ad is actually about to start in about 3 minutes. So fantastic timing. You guys just give me a couple of minutes away and we'll come right back to it. We got the real big screen on right now. Let's switch over to this screen. All right, and this will give me a minute to clear my mind and then we can come back and take another look at this thing. Boy, it looks different. Wow. Okay. I rather like the idea of this having a nice little floaty top here with this one. And then things start moving down. All right. I'm going to grab... Oops, sorry about the clap. That's probably really loud. I'm going to go grab my copper wire here and then let's get to it. Here's a little better lighting. Okay, guys, just give me a handful of minutes here. Ads are starting in 1 minute. Those last like what, 3 minutes? So let me just hit this and this. And there we go. Boom. All right, and then really finally slaying the beast. Beast. There we go. All right, there we go, dudes. I'll be back in about 9 minutes, okay? Just give me a little bit of time. almost made it back late because Mally had to stretch outside. And she wouldn't come inside without doing it. It's alright. I gave her time to stretch. That's what the wellness breaks are for. Alright, and I also found the copper wire we're going to be using. I used up all of my thin stuff, unfortunately, on my white pine that I worked on yesterday. We had a bit of a marathon yesterday. We repotted a rhododendron. We wired up and styled a white pine. We did a couple of house plants. A lot of cool stuff. So make sure if you're into that type of content, you like and follow the channel, subscribe, all that good stuff, so you can be here along for the ride. And I really love it when I can get you guys involved with different styling decisions and stuff like that. But if no one's in chat, then no one can participate. So hopefully we get some people rolling into chat and stuff during these projects. As we build clout. Nice thick wire, since we've got thick branches to work with. And also some thin wire, because we have some thin branches to work with. Let's get this thing wired up. I'm pretty wired up. I've been drinking coffee a bit too late tonight. Now, I'm not going to use my nice shears to clip my wire ever. I'm going to use just wire clippers. Don't ruin your nice tools. Let's start off here. I want to do these two that we said are going to kind of act as our new sparse growth off the top. So let's see how much wire we're going to need for that. A little less than half. I try to leave myself a little bit of grace, a little extra, so I can wrap a little bow at the end, but it doesn't always turn out that way. So hopefully I spaced this correctly. We have a solid branch to anchor onto. This branch is rock solid here, so I don't want to hurt or disturb any of the bark. Pick off a little dead piece here that's just going to fall off. I sometimes like to look for a nice cleat that I can grab onto. But honestly, I think that just going straight in after these is fine. See, if we put it below like this, then it brings our leverage down to start pulling the branches downward on both. But that means that we probably actually want to be on top of this branch for some leverage. And then we'll go below. See? Sorry, I meant like this. I meant like this. Okay, so we're going to use this branch as leverage right here. And then we'll be able to turn both up, and it's going to press against this top part here and give us our leverage. Just make sure that's the best way I want to do this. Could go one wire wrap around. Maybe I'll do that. This is a rather, but I kind of got to use the length. Let's do this. Sometimes just choosing the right attack approach is a little bit part of the issue. So I'm going to go in this way. And then I think from here, honestly, it's going to give me that downward leverage that I need, but I just feel like one wrap around the branch is going to give me a lot more stability. So maybe we'll actually have to anchor up here, and we'll cross under the branch. Something like this. Oops. This is very stiff wire, so forgive my slow manipulation of it. It's just very thick. It's a bit stiff. Came from a recycling center, so it's not straight off the spool as some collectors get to use. Okay, so if we come all the way up here, that's going to be a nice anchor point like that. So I'll pinch this. This is going to end up being dead wood that comes off anyway, and it crosses underneath, and it's going to give me nice leverage downward on both branches. It's not going to leave me quite as much length as I wanted, as I said, but sorry about the mic bump there, guys. I think I can make this work. So we'll just have a nice tight cross under here, and it's not going to hurt the branch. Certainly nothing visible. Okay. And then on this side, we're going to start just wrapping up and around this one. About a 35-degree angle is actually perfect because it preserves most of what we've got here. So I'm going to make sure that I'm bending the wire and not the branch. A very important technical skill you've got to get down is moving the wire and not the branch. See, look, it looks like I'm going to be able to save all my back butting down here. Simply by getting it out of the way of the wire. Won't lose any. Yeah, we're not losing really any needles at all. We got a nice little passage for this guy. Nice. And then we'll hook up and around. Try not to hurt the tree or the bark. And then the final wrap can go kind of around the lead here. So I'll tighten this out just a bit. And then we'll get our last turn in. And this is just going to kind of control the whole bunch here by bending back under. And that's going to allow me to give it an upward twist when we're done. Now let's get this other side secured so they're both kind of bolted in place. I'm going to stand for this one because I think I can do it a little quicker. Yeah, certainly a bit quicker if I can focus on the job. I'm not sure what I exactly want these to do at the end. I suspect it's going to be one of these up and overs like this. A little bow at the end. If I can salvage the back butt underneath it, that's great. Okay. So now these two are fairly wired in. Let's see if we can do a little bit of bending. Try to bend the wire, not the branch. The branch will follow the wire. And then just an upward turn at the end like that. Okay. Just to bring it down and out. I'm going to do the same thing here, just to bring it on a nice curve here. Down and out. I'm gonna even be more ambitious with that one. Look at that. See, now look how there's this new idea of a tree growing out of what used to be here. I think that looks great. And we can use just a little aluminum or pruning to get this one to look how we want. It's a little clustery right now, but that's all right. Sure, that one's gonna be just fine. So that's our first big wire of the day. Bit tight around here, but I think it is giving us the expression that we want. There. Ooh, look at that movement. Look at that movement with that one push. How cool is that? All right, sick. This one doesn't need much in the way of wiring. It just needs this little guy moved out a bit. So that little clip of wire I have here could work for that. I have just a bit. Here I can clip off. I don't think aluminum is gonna move this one. I might as well check, but if I do a check by grabbing the aluminum wire and pushing the branch, this just bends. It's not gonna move it. That will move the branch. So once again, let's try and leave enough to wrap around, maybe this long. See, even the little bits end up coming in useful eventually. So this one I'm gonna kind of build a little hook. I'm gonna just hook it around one of these back bits here. And then I'll have to bend the wire forward, just like so. And then we can wrap it around this branch, hopefully nice and gingerly. It's a lot of sap bleed going on right in here. Actually, I think I want to go all the way around. The opposing branch is a better anchor point. So let's twist this and go over. Oops, I'm sorry about the mic there. And then I'm gonna twist just that little bow tie like I always do at the end of that. And then just with this, if we hook it in there nice and tight, clamp it, should be able to get a nice twist right here. So I needed to get one more bit there. Not super traditional wiring, but it works. Okay. I think what I want to do is actually wrap this all the way about it and then push it down a little. There. That's more what I was looking at. And this guy up here. I think that it's a little more dramatic if I just piece off one little spot here, because it grows down an awful lot and there's a lot of action in here, so I don't think that'll be missed. It actually kind of evens out the bottom a bit. Nice, 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 nice. I want this to open up more. Just like that. I think I can even bend this wire a bit here. So it kind of meets this one there. Yeah, do all that, okay. So now we move into our second peak over here. I think I'm going to cut this one back to its lower buds. It's backbudding back here nicely, and that's going to continue to give a nice shapely dome over in this side. So that can stay. All right. The shape gets more and more interesting the more you take off. Got some bleed on a top branch here that I haven't sealed. So let's seal that off. I've been so excited to get to this project, guys. I really wish that more folks were tuned in tonight, so you could let me know what you think in real time, and let me know what you want to see me do in future projects. All right, so how do we start to contain this lower layer? This looks good, this looks good. It all looks good pretty much from this angle. This angle looks good. I see a problem with some crowding up here. I think that we need to really try to bring all this down and maybe eliminate some. Maybe eliminate this one, because then we can create some separation and have a 2-branch split again, especially from this angle. With this one here, having that 2-branch split out of the way opens up a lot on the inside. If I cut it back to here, I just like the natural shape of those, so I think I want to wire them. Let's see. This comes down here. That starts this whole formation here, which everything is fairly well suited. Take a little piece of this thin aluminum and just wire in a couple small pieces right here. These two will be much more collaborative. Oops. With a good wiring. So I'm going to use that piece of deadwood there as an anchor for me to loop back around. Oops, gotta go over the deadwood. You can see how easily this stuff goes on. So this is great for these little thin branches. It's a lot less rough on them than the copper wire when you're really trying to get that stuff attached. It can be a bit challenging using recycled wire. This end I have enough room to make that little bow tie, so I'll do that. Okay. And boom. There we go. So now I can send the 2 branches here however I want. I can bring them in a bit like this. And then one kind of just in a little bit at a profile. Give it like a little shape to its entry here. Maybe down and in like this. Maybe down in and back up. Yeah, I think that works. And that can work with it here as well. Works with the direction of the tree. Still don't know about this bit here. So we can go in and then get nice and tight through here. I feel like I'm gonna have to send a piece of copper of these two to make them do what I want over here without crossing each other, going one up and one down. But if one goes up, kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? Yep. I'm afraid that this big piece right here may need to go. I really like the shape of that branch. But let's see, maybe if I want this to be more standalone, I have to like stand up and sit down and stand up and sit down to keep getting different perspectives. And we don't have to do everything all in one night, remember. I think what I want to do is reduce things back gradually this way. There. So things are reduced back to about here, to where I have new leads, especially ones that are going in good directions. So these two leads are both growing in pretty good directions, and there's a bit of filler. I'll lose this little outside straggler that's gonna grow downwards and be in the way. Could cut that one clear back and take all of this out. And this looks pretty good like that. I'll propose to take this out. Maybe I'd need to start being a little more aggressive cutting back some of these. I'm gonna leave that. This one I might be able to cut back. Or maybe I just need to clear it up a bit because it's too congested below where the other ones are. So we just need to clear out up to there or cut back to there. Ooh, decisions. I mean, that's our highlight, and then this could be a highlight with a nice little foot on it. And I can direct this one out this way. This needs to kind of go like this. And this one kind of needs to be cut back so that this can be celebrated. And we can have more of the clouds starting to form here. Which is pretty appropriate, I think. Especially because this one will be moved in like this. Okay, so I'm going to take a big chunk off of this right here. Big long candle coming off. Here goes. After these are split a little bit, they should play nicely together. Okay, cool. Let me put a little bit of sealant on a couple of cuts. So we need some right here. Some right here. So this one already got hit. And this one And this one right here definitely is bleeding. Okay. It's going in a good direction. A couple more wiring jobs and we could maybe even call it for the night, but let's see. Let's do another piece copper. Let's see. Where are you all needing to go? We've got this cool canopy here, complete. So now we need to start forming this area, and this area. Okay. And then this can drop down. Or maybe these come up. Let's see. First off, we got clutter in here. Let me cut one of these off from the back. 2 downward facing back buds. Couple 3 facing downward facing back buds off now. And there's another one that's only going to be downward facing in the future. So a quick haircut for them. They're kind of grown into each other, but I think that our copper wire should be able to keep those two right where we want them. I feel like I want to build my pad right here with these two. And then we can bring these guys up maybe. I mean, this looks pretty cool from this angle. So maybe I need to duplicate that a little bit more. There's that. So maybe I need to look at this lead over here and ensure that this is what we want it to look like. I think that's about right. One kind of growing downwards. Whoops, a little bit of pruning happened up in here. But overall, I think this looks fine as is. I don't want to take anything off of that. I'm not going to take anything off of that. These little guys are so confused, man. I think I want to keep this one bent. I just want to keep this one back here in case it back buds down, because this could be a cool branch with back budding. This one, like, literally has to start the cloud foot, something like this. I think aluminum is gonna hold that if I wrap it correctly. So I'm gonna try aluminum on this one. Let's see, how are we gonna anchor this thing? I guess we could just anchor around this big lead right here. See, I should probably go under. Hope you guys have a view of everything here. Okay, so I'm gonna go little wire up here, and it goes up and under this guy, and we can wrap it up. Yeah, this is very obedient wire, So it might be able to get me just the perfect angles to get this just manipulated enough. Otherwise I have to switch over to something a little more heavy duty, which I didn't really want to do. I'm going to continue wrapping all the way to the end of the lead here. And then at the end of the lead, we kind of run into a split. So I'll wrap around the split, but then kind of just create a little bow tie for them both. Actually, maybe I'll work back down. Hang on, I'm going to do a little fancy trick here. I'm going to work the wire back down and over so I can manipulate the second branch as well. I don't mind if it looks a little bit shoddy. If it works, it works. And it makes me a perfect little bow tie here too. Nice. And I found a little dead piece. Okay, let's see how much. Yeah, the wire is definitely allowing a bit of bend here. Especially when we get to the thin stuff up here. Up like that. And up like that. And just quick wire adjustment here. There. Okay, I kind of like how those sit now with their backup growing in here. This thing's doing its thing up here. And that's good and all. I think I want to create just another little degree of separation by taking one more off. Creates another natural 2 split up here. And then everything turns into a little bit of a cloud right here. So I need this brought down to like here. And then we take the bottom branch off, I think. Even though it does have there's good opposing branches there. And then one that goes upward directly. So I think I want to take off the up direct right here. Some back butting next to it, no big deal. And then there's this downward. It really just kind of swagger jacks this whole area. I tried to cut it back once. I'm going to cut it back once more and see if we can get a little more back butting around these other little back buds in here. Just snip it back a little further than it was. These guys are just kind of doing their thing down here. I'm not too concerned about them really. But this big piece here needs to come down a bit. So I'm calling the copper again. And we're gonna have to get a nice wrap. Probably through here. And at this point, I think I'm just gonna cut the excess wire off at the end because I don't have that much extra on this piece. I'm gonna use my clippers to just make a nice little turn. Oop, lost my grip. There. And now I have a nice grip. It's gonna really grab onto this lower branch and encourage a nice strong pull on this lead, which is what I need. There's some back buds right here I want to avoid. So let me just get in a little bit earlier. Okay, I hope I'm not marring up my bark here. Not, I don't think. Ooh, I just got a bunch of goo on my finger. No. Okay. Let's get a couple more twists in right around this stuff. All right. So we avoid a couple of back buds in here. This one in particular. And this one in particular. And then these are just some extras. Pull up. There we go. All right, just give me one more nice loop. Come on. Okay, so I got my final loop around the very end of the lead. So that thing is now mine. Let's get a bow tie in there. Nice and big for everything around it. This is very thick. Ugh, very thick wire. Really gotta pinch and flex. Ugh. All right, so I can cut a bit off here. There we go. All right, let's see what we can do with this branch. This big long boy. It's even got like a little built-in bridge on the bow tie so it can hold its little partner here down. So let me bend that out a bit more. There. Okay, I'm actually gonna get a little bit stronger bend here so it makes sure to hold on to this branch there. And then this whole branch is mine to move now, I think. Mostly up here where I want it to bend down. And out. Probably this way a bit, yeah? And then we can get our upward turn with this bit here. With the couple underneath. Just kind of hanging out. Oh, actually, you know what? Now this one needs upward growth like this. Reverse the hook. Now it's an uplifting hook. One downward there, but that's kind of okay. Especially if I use these ones to fill in like this. I could take this whole one back. Gotta observe what's overcrowded. This doesn't seem that bad. I might want one wired up a bit and one wired down a bit here. I don't think my little tiny piece of wire is going to be enough to go around these guys and bring one up and one down. They would need to like separate right there. I can try it on a small scale here. This is pretty tough wire. I might be able to just bend it right at the beginning of the right at the beginning of these two little trunks here. This is a risky little bend. Okay. Okay, this bend seemed to go in okay. So then how about this one? Can I get this around one time to pull it back? That's my question. I believe the answer is yes. If I'm clever with how I turn it, should be able to get this down and under. Down and under. Come on, down and under. There we go. And then up like that. Just gotta go a simple upward like that, and a bit downward like this. And that adds, I think, the spread that I needed. How very different. How very, very different it looks. Okay. So let me give it a good spin around here, guys, and see how we're looking. This might be good for the night at least. This was quite a bit of work. Kind of want these two to cooperate better, but they need to be brought up, I think, to their little buddy here. As a matter of fact, I feel like this one needs to get bent clear back this way to be part of this whole thing. And the other goes down a bit. It's a lot of work, guys. We've removed a lot. There's still some areas that are just absolutely thriving on it. It's just this area that I'm still not quite sure about what to do. Gotta wire some stuff up into a nice little cloud pocket here. And the answer may just be to eliminate more crossover and waste. Maybe get one more wire on these guys. Maybe once this is a bit under control, or this happens here, we get that and this. I think I'm going to leave it for tonight. We did an awful lot of work. Quite a bit. All right. I think that's it for tonight, guys. That's it. That's it. That's it. My hands are covered in sap and wound sealer, tree wound sealer. So oh, my mic stand fell down and everything fell down, man. Guys, please help me get to that point someday soon where I can have a studio, please. I'm begging you. It's so hard to do this in this extra room. Things are coming unplugged and falling over. I'm so glad it didn't hit my PC at least. Man, what a sign off. We got some really cool stuff done today though, guys. I'm really glad to have had you along the way. Just pop this bad boy back up here. I know it's safe here at least. Whoop. Let's change settings. I gotta get my webcam back in order, guys. There. All right, good enough. All right, cool. So thanks for being here with me tonight. Look at what we've done to this thing. I think it's really actually starting to get a lot of style. And we've got so many options still. We could still cut off everything from the bottom and it would still look incredible. We're actually making some very cool work here and leaving all of our nice leads intact. You can see on the tray down here just how much we took off. And we'll see how it does. I'm going to give it a good watering and send it into the sun, partial sun, for the next couple of days to start recovering. Thanks everybody for being here today. If you just rolled through, or if you're watching on the VOD, anything like that, quick 2-hour spruce up for this thing. And that's going to be it for the night. So take care of each other, take care of yourselves, fight the power, all that good stuff. Yeah, it's good having everybody here tonight. I'll see you on the next one. Adios. Love y'all. Bye-bye.